Good afternoon, 3 p.m. our time, learning time. I always said that in life, there are two things no one can take away from you. Number one is your knowledge. Number two is taxes. No one can take away from you. So I'm kidding, okay? Actually, the real answer is the knowledge and your health. But I was just thinking, they can take away from you. They can shoot you, you're dead, and you're done, right? So no, taxes. The taxes and the knowledge, no one can take away. So today, we're doing both. We're giving you the tax knowledge, we're giving you knowledge, right? So that's got to be the good deal. Hiring a contractor. The reason we talk about this topic is because you know the immigration rate and you know the payroll compliance audit, DOL audit and the state workforce audit. All of these stuff is bubbling up right now, right? So people are very nervous around payroll. It just like is a monster right now. Then, of course, if you don't do payroll, you are paying someone to work, so that person might be a contractor. So how do you hire a contractor correctly so you don't end up be reclassified those contractor to be your employee? Man, you will be open up a new can of worms, and these worms also have wings. They're gonna fly a lot and high, and you will be in the mess, and we can't fix you. So let's just say, how do we hire a contractor correctly? Do it right from very beginning. So you can have employee or you don't have employee, you have contractor, but you do it right. Isn't that cool? Let me go through that with you today. All right, so very quickly, this is our website about our firm, communitycpa.com, and please check our website because we really are very active with our website. And you can onboard with us, become our client without talking to us. You can have appointment with us. Obviously, while we provide this service, you can pay us online, and we have your portal, which is client portal, that you will see everything that you have with us. You can, sometimes clients they don't do anything else, they just do payroll with us, so they have a payroll portal. Of course, everything I talked about without edit, that's really bad. Maybe we should edit some of the stuff, but no, we wanted the things to go in to you quickly. So after I finish the webinar, it will be deposited right here in our channel with YouTube. So you actually can look at our history, hear those webinars in Chinese, in Spanish, in English, and pretty soon in Vietnamese. So you can actually get your choice of language. And if you have to learn something with multi-language, then you can remember, then listen to all of it. You know, sometimes if I like certain song really a lot, I actually go on internet, search for all the different language for that same song. You know, I felt like that's the way, you kind of capture the different languages spirit, not just language, right? So we have this YouTube channel. We put our talk in here. You will find it if you come over here. There is a magnifying glasses, and you just type in what that is, and it will show you the video. All right? Of course, you can also look at our playlist and things like that. It is all here, a lot of stuff. About our firm, I will skip this one, just show you the 2 books I wrote. And here, no responsibility disclaimer. Let's get started. All right, so understand hiring contractors, right? So many business, I actually don't even have employee, they just have contractors. That is not to say it's wrong. Everything is right as long as you're doing it right, right? So, but to hire the contractors, what are the characteristics of the contractor versus who works for you, right? So how do we know we're doing it right? So you want to understand the circumstance that you are in, why you need contractor. A lot of times people will say that, I myself, I'm one person business. I just need a contractor to do things that I don't know how to do. So I'm a marketing person. I have a marketing company, but I hire a contractor to check my SEO side of work. Then I also have another contractor do the SEM side of work. So with all of these different things, the owner person may not know, so they hire contractors, which is totally fine. So the government like to look at your hire, goes, I think this is more like employee. You should not be treating that as a contractor. So if you get that mixed up, if they tell you that your contractor is supposed to be employee, there will never be a chance they tell you the employee should be contractor. So you can forget about that. And they're a contractor but should be your employee. If you ended up that way, if this is what you are doing and they're correcting you, and it could lead to audit, back taxes, penalty interest, court fight, and even jail terms. So that is how serious it is. I wouldn't say it was serious a year ago, but now with Trump administration, it is very serious because, we have this administration act on a moment of emotions. So if they don't think you're doing it right, and they can order whatever they want, and then you're in jail. Yeah, that's how it is. So for small business owners, and don't think you have connections to somebody you won't, and don't think that you voted Trump so you are safe. Just forget about it, and you just need to do it right. There's no other ways, right? And understand the classification is important. And let's just look at these three controls: behavior controls, financial controls, and the type of relationship. These three big areas are what IRS put out there on their website. So they're saying that if those three controls are demonstrated in one way or another, that would classify your people, whether it's an employee or it's a subcontractor. So you may say that, oh, Ying, that is so vague. I don't know. What do you mean by behavior control? So there are total of 20 questions the IRS laid out. It's on their website, ladies and gentlemen. And you can go to irs.gov, pull out the 20 questions. They're all made underneath these controls. So for example, on the behavior, and they will say that, do you provide, is the employer provide tools, or is the person who worked for you provide their own tools? So if you answer, oh yeah, I am the employer, I'm the boss, I provide tools. No, so your contractor worked for you, they use your tools? You say, yes, absolutely. You know what? They're your employee. That particular question is to decide whether they're your employee or your contractors. So you answered a question which will leaning towards to the fact that these people are your employee, not your contractor. Then they will also ask, okay, do they actually report to you how many hours they worked every day? And so that way you pay them by the hourly rate. You go, oh yeah, absolutely. That's how we control the contractors. You're wrong. That's how you control the employees. So those, again, is a question giving more weight to the person. He is your employee, not your contractor. So those are the control questions, the questions that inside of these control, then financial statement control relationships. For example, if you are running a drywall company, but your contractor should not be drywall. Because you're running a drywall company, you should have an employee who does drywall day in, day out. But if you say that, I also, by the way, do roof, because they are kind of related, because we have to do all these ceilings and roof need to be done. So in the way, I started doing a little bit of roofing. So that roofing contractor is my contractor. That's correct, because that's not your key business. It's almost like in the CPA firms, you're like, oh yeah, you know what? I have accountant, and they're all subcontractor. That's absolutely wrong. You are a CPA firm, you're an accounting firm, so your accountant need to be your employees. They should not be your subcontractor. Of course, you may say that, well, Ying, you're wrong because I hired people in Philippines. They're my subcontractors. And I would say that they're not even your subcontractors because subcontractor contractor concept is for U.S. taxes, right? These people are foreign workers, so they totally belongs to a different set of group. They're not even related to this classification issue because the IRS will not classify your Filipino accountant to be your employee, and they also don't need to issue 1099 because they're not a U.S. worker. They're not in U.S. They don't subject to the same jurisdiction kind of requirements. So they're on their own. But of course, you have a different set of requirement, right? You need to have them fill in the appropriate form so you don't have to withhold their taxes, right? So they also should have a contractual relationship with you so you can move money from U.S. to the foreign country. All right, so these are the three big things I want you to know that you need to know in order for you to treat the worker correctly, whether they are contractors or they're employee. If the worker is classified as employee and your business, you must do withholding, you must do FICA tax match, Medicare tax match. You also have to submit 941, 940, and you also have to have them fill up I-9 and the W-4, right? Those are requirements. But if it is an independent contractor, then they only need to fill in W-9 and contract, and you will issue 1099. Right? That's the difference. So here, this slide talk about the definition of employee. So generally speaking, the IRS and the court and the tax court look at the degree of control a organization has over these workers to decide whether they are, which way they are. Some of the business that misclassified worker may qualify relief under Section 530 of the tax code. So what we're saying to you is that, let's say after you hear this webinar, you don't feel really good because you are doing it maybe not so right in the past, and all of the people are actually supposed to be employee but was contractor. So you can look into Section 530 to see whether there's certain tax relief for you. If there is, then you don't have to be scared of being audited and charged, and you can get away from underneath that code, right? The key difference between employee and independent contractor, we kind of laid it out here. I know the screen is kind of light, so it is the aspect of the difference come from controls, come from tools, equipment, come from work schedule, right? And come from the payment, and also come from the benefit. Do you give them benefit? If you don't give them benefit, and they're more likely a contractor, if they are employee, they're probably accumulating PTO days and things like that, right? So those are the key differences between these group of people. All right. So there is another thing we want to introduce to you, other than Section 530, to look for exemptions, look for way out if you have done it wrong. Let's say you are not sure you're right or wrong. You just feel like, I don't know, I think all of my friends treating them as a contractors, and nobody treat them as employee, even though I am not sure. And how do I get a sure say over this? You can fill up the form SS8. So we want to bring that to you so you can put in the SS8. IRS will tell you whether they're employee or they're contractors. Okay? The IRS will contact you, provide you with the answer. If you don't know, say you hired me and you don't know whether Ying should be your employee or should be your contractor, and you're also a CPA firm and you're not sure, then if you run into that kind of uncertainty, other than consult with your CPA firm or with your attorney, and you can obviously send in this form to IRS and get a confirmation from IRS. So now, this is the page that I want you to, to really, really know, and to either take a picture of it or just to imprint that in your head. And if you are hiring a contractor, I want to make sure that you have these 6 things in your file. 6. Number 1, W-9. W-9 is the form the subcontractor would fill up, so you know their EIN number and you know the company, whatever that name is, right? And even if it is not company, it's individual, you will have their individual name and you have the social security number. So W-9 is key. Then it's the contract, and the contract between you and that contractor, it needs to be there, okay? If you're not sure about the contract, you can always ask our firm. We have recommended template for you, and by different state, every state is different. So if you are in Minnesota, you call in, we give you one. And so those are the contracts you can use. What we give you is just for your reference, right? It's not like you just wipe out the sample and you just use it. You still have to, review that for your own sake. Let's say you don't have attorney and you don't have anybody to look at that for you. You got a template from us. You can fill it up, then have the attorney here in our firm review that for you. So that way, at least you do one correctly, then the rest should be just simple, right? General liability insurance, you must have that contractor buy it. They need to buy one for you. They need to show you. Workers' comp insurance, the contractor should have it. They should either have the workers' comp insurance or the form exempted them from getting workers' comp, because if they are the owner of the company, they can purchase workers' comp insurance but get exempted. So they pay very minimum fee, like $100, $200, but they get exemption status showing that they exempted from that. So it's important for your contractor to have a general liability insurance and a workers' comp insurance. Okay. Copy of the payment that you paid along with the invoice they give to you. They are contractors. So you cannot tell me that they don't give you invoice. So you need to require them to give you invoice every time you make payment. So that payment copy and invoice attached together, you keep it. You keep it, right? And on the invoice, it should not say something like, I worked 30 hours, it's $5 an hour, so give me $600. No, you cannot do that. Because if you do that, they're employees. So it should say something more like this project, the name of the project, location of the project, and it's done. That's why they're asking for payment. The last but not the least is you need to issue the 1099. If they are LLC, if they are individual, you have to have the 1099. But if they are corporation, you don't need to issue 1099. So that is something you must have, right? So to make sure you have this whole thing, then you'll be safe. And I promise you that. So you just need to make sure you got everything done. So to avoid costly mistakes, you want to make sure that you follow the rules and regulations out there. And the workers' classification is a big deal. You don't want to get there. Just make sure you're doing it right, okay? If you have questions, of course, you can reach out to us. We can also help you to accurately, correctly classify your workforce. So, of course, we classify it one way. If the government come back goes, oh, Ying, you're totally wrong, it should be classified differently, then we can debate in court. At the end, someone need to make a decision, and our decision is such that stands until someone challenges, right? So with that said, to look for professional to help you to get the subcontractor side correctly. All right, so this kind of covers what we want to talk about today between the worker and the subcontractor. And if it is your employee, there's a whole set of rules you need to follow. And I have talked quite a few things about that in the last few weeks, right? We're covering all of these audit, things related to employee. And then subcontractor piece was not exactly covered, but today we will just let you know that if you want certain people and to be subcontractors, and then you need to follow these 6 points. You need to have them provide you with your W-9, And with the contract that's signed, 2 insurances, general business insurance, workers' comp insurance, then you need to make sure what you also have is the copies of payment and invoices that you got from your contractor. And you may say that Ying is already made. I already made several payments. I didn't have the invoice from them. Just have them make it up. Do it now. So you get into a habit of doing it, right? It has to have an invoice. I know a lot of small businesses, we sort of like don't care about the legalities. Oh yeah, even though there's no invoice, but here is the text message that he gave me, and I did that based on that. Okay, I mean, if you're not audited, if nobody cares, and you can write on the toilet paper, nobody cares, right? But the thing is that if you are being audited, all of this is not good enough. So why can't you just have a good habit of it and have everything there? It is not that hard once you have a good habit. And it is not that hard to eat lunch every day, right? Because your stomach is hungry and you know how to eat, so you eat. And in this particular case, I know there's no hunger behind it, so there's no real trigger for you to have to do it. But I hope that our conversation here is that trigger. Our conversation here is the hunger. So we say that you need to do it, so you do it. And if you listen to us, you will be fine. And we knew that these are what government is looking at. And we can't say enough. It's just like, you have many kids. We have 12,000 kids here. They're our client. And some kids are good. They listen to everything we say, so they're good. But some kids are naughty. They just don't listen to you. We try to, I don't know. Sometimes parents do beat up their children, okay? And I don't fault the parents. They can beat up their children. They need to be beaten up. Yeah. That's my opinion. Remember, I said no responsibility in the very beginning? So even if you beat up your child, then I can get away, because I said that. All right. Okay, everyone. So with that said, I want you to see this is our partners at the firm. And our whole heart is for the goodness of you. We want you to be successful. We don't want you to get into trouble. And when you get into trouble, you come to us. Yes, we charge a fee for servicing you, but I tell you, we don't enjoy that. We don't want anybody to get into trouble. So we want you to follow the rules, follow us, and we'll do it right together. All right? We will safeguard you through the period considered hard. And we knew how to do it. And we'll take care of you. We're like your guardian angel. All right. So this is the last slide, which just tells you can email Catherine at communitycpa.com. She actually is our marketing manager here. She knows what you are asking, and she turned that into our content. So that way you feel like this webinar is so related to you, you can't live without. And remember, there's only 2 things don't go away from you, the knowledge and taxes. All right, I'll talk to you again on Saturday. Bye-bye.